Hello and welcome to Hadfield Station. We're on Train Sim World for a journey to Manchester Piccadilly, and we're in the Northern Class 323, as you can see. Very nice it is too. So let's get things set up. And let's open the doors. Now we are on a Creators Club scenario. So instead of reaching Manchester Piccadilly and finding an empty station, we're going to get all sorts of stock in there. We're going to get Avanti West Coast liveried 395s. We might see a Cross Country HST in the process. And we should see plenty of action along the way as well with different liveries. So I thought I'd try and just take a step away. It's a lovely route and we're in the heart of the Peak District, but it can be a little bit boring with the default runs without the other traffic. Quite funny driving this in the middle of winter because we've got here a gorgeous summer's evening, and this shows the colours off in Train Sim World to its absolute best. And we've got an unusual service as well because we are not going to be stopping at Glossop. We're not going down the Glossop line. Now, in reality, all the websites and suggest that occasionally you get peak time trains stopping at Dinting Platform 1. But as far as I can see in the current timetable, that just doesn't happen. So this is perhaps a sign of times gone by. I've got no real local knowledge of the line, so I'm sure some people could fill in a little bit better. And we are going to see a little bit of waiting time as well in the early stages, so we do have a red signal coming up. I'm not sure if this is a fictional timetable, but we've got quite a run as well because we're stopping at Broadbottom, Hattersley, Godley, Newton for Hyde, Flowery Fields, Guybridge, Fairfield, Gorton, Ashbury's and Ardwick, and then into Manchester Piccadilly. Okay, we've got a green signal now. And again, a quick glance at real-time trains website, and you can't see any trains at the moment that stop at Ardwick. There was an attempt to close the station in the mid-2000s. So normally trains would branch left here to take the branch to Gloucester, but we are going straight through. And our stop at Dinton is on platform 1. I'm reopening in the doors again. I was a bit premature, I think, closing the doors. Love the UFO sounds on these 323s. We go over the viaduct at Dinton. I think we have essentially got a train behind us for the moment, but I don't think it'll hold us up for much of the run. We've got another red signal at the moment. And noting the timings, I've jotted them down from the person who created this lovely scenario off the Creators Club. Broadbottom were not due to arrive until 1917, so I think we still should be all right time-wise. There might be a mod to download somewhere about these colours, because you almost think that was an orange or yellow signal rather than it being red. I think myself it's one of the best routes that has come out in 2023. It's just a nice length, nice little run you can have into Manchester. Nice scenery, and then the suburbs of Manchester nicely represented as well. And again, just admiring the scenery, forgetting about the 40 mile an hour speed restriction. I promise you we'll see quite a bit of other trains on this run. Well, that was a 323 in Northern colours for now. Great place names as well, this neck of the woods as well. Broadbottom. And we've had so many incarnations of this route really on Train Simulator. With Train Sim Classic we got the old Woodhead route which took us right the way through to Sheffield. Then we got a representation in British Rail Blue in the 1970s with the old DC 506s. And then finally a modern day version of the route. Beautiful sun reflections this time of the night. Always felt the acceleration and braking on this thing is a little bit suspect. I could be wrong, but just seems to be a little bit too quick away and a bit too quick stopping. And arriving here at Hadfield, we're slightly early actually. We're due to depart at 19:21. To see that there's plenty of passengers on board. I know some of these Creators Club scenarios, there used to be a thing about not wanting to allow passengers on. How far will it let us and won't let us go up the steps? Something I'd love to see Dovetail Games sort out is the movement of the passengers a little bit. Right, we better get back into the cab if we can find a way through. Don't want to be too late. Of course, the little reminder there at the top of the screen was just saying you can't move away until the doors are shut. There'll be no power gains, and I think that's as per reality. Godley, the next stop. And you can see the huge gantries where at one stage this was effectively a 4-track line. Talking about how quickly this thing could stop, and then I've missed the platform slightly. Commentator's curse. Okay, it'd be a bit of a jump down, wouldn't it, from those front doors? Aha, we have a Northern Liveried 101. Suspect that's a bit fictional, really. Try and make the stop next time a little bit more accurate at Newton for Hyde. Of course, there's always that tendency once you've underdone it one time, the next time, of course, you're a little bit too cautious. Should do it. Could be July, August, couldn't it? A hot summer's day. Very different than cold winter's one in December. Makes you long for those lovely summer nights. (1927) is our departure time. Now the next stop's Flowery Fields, and getting back to that British Rail Blue Train Sim Classic era, there was no such station. This is a fairly modern addition to the route in real life. Highly worth watching Don Coffey's video of this route on YouTube. It's a nice watch, and again, not a massively long one, watching it go there and back. I wonder if the place is as exquisite as it sounds, Flowery Fields. Will it let us up onto the road this time? Right, we better get back now. Can we find a way back to the train? Yep, there we are. Sorry, madam. We've got the junction coming in from Hyde North from our left, which is modelled in the game. Next stop is Guy Bridge, and this used to be an absolutely massive area. The shadow of its former self. There was, I think there was something like 4 platforms, there's now only 2. Huge yards surrounded it. The AWS there reminding us of our upcoming reduction in speed to 40. Though, as you can see from the little indicator at the corner, it's not until after the green signal. Again, I was a bit cautious on that reduction to 40. It's not till here. You can see that the station used to be on its left. The other platforms. Somebody waiting there with a suitcase. That's a new addition for Train Sim World 4. You know, keep the cursor away from that emergency brake plunger as well. As far as I can gather, most trains on the timetable pretty much only have one stop now between here and Manchester Piccadilly, which is Ashbury's. This one's stopping at Fairfields, Gorton and Ardwick as well. Really like to know the proper braking points. You can only know that by hearing to a real driver. Here we are at Fairfield. The catenary is fairly accurately represented as well. The old 1950s catenary, and it was originally all done as DC electrification, and it was all converted to AC on one weekend in the 1980s. So Gorton, the next stop. But there used to be a works at Gorton that built locomotives back in the day. Certainly a route you have to give concentration to because of the frequent stops.
Security personnel tour this station 24 hours a day.
Slightly early at Gorton. We've got another minute before our 1940 departure. I think we've got something exciting coming in the opposite direction. We've got a Trans Pennine liveried. Okay, it's a 395, but it looks pretty splendid. And you would see them on this section of the route before Guy Bridge. The electric Trans Pennines are actually either 397s or they are in the 800 series, but it's near enough. What a magnificent sight. I wonder if that was diverted. Cross Country HST. This is a rare sight, isn't it? Train stopping at Ardwick as we have a Class 47 tanker coming through. Such was my excitement of seeing that. I opened the doors on the wrong side. on the final part of the journey in towards Manchester Piccadilly. We're on the West Coast main line proper now. So we're entering into platform 3. And we'll have a look at Manchester Piccadilly when we get there, because we haven't just got the boring old 323s in here. Certainly got a Northern 158 on our left. Another 323 on the right. And this feels a little bit more how Manchester Piccadilly should feel. I'd be quite happy to see fictional repaints of units. Of course, these two are exactly right. There are Northern 158s. But the other repaints, absolutely fine if it just adds a bit of flavour into the route. That's certainly my thought anyway. Now, what have we got? Looks very much like we can get up to the platform level anyway. Looks like a Avanti West Coast liveried 395. Another 323. Very nice to see. Okay, well, that's the end of the scenario. Hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed the run into Manchester Piccadilly on this lovely summer's evening. Makes you think of times to come. We'll have more from both Train Simulator Classic, Train Sim World, some planes, and the real train world as well. So until next time, it's bye-bye.